that oversaw legitimate Middle East peace, offered Yasser Arafat everything he had demanded. And Clinton was serious. This was not a negotiating technique. Everything it was asking for. What did Arafat do? He ran for the nearest falafel. He wanted no part of it because peace is not what these people want. It would be like offering the Reverend Jackson everything he's demanding. He wouldn't take it. So negotiations aren't going to work here. These people have been running around enraged every day. It's been 50 years of rage, and we've been trying it the same way. Here comes the Trumpster, and he's putting a new way on this, trying a new way to see if we can't get closer to what people claim they really want. Next, at CNN, and they asked Fareed Zakaria GPS, Fareed Zakaria Global Positioning Satellite, what do you think Trump moving the capital, acknowledging Jerusalem as a capital, what do you think that's really all about?
It makes no sense from a strategic point of view. I mean, if Jared Kushner is really trying to do the once-in-3-generation peace deal, why would you do this? I think what you're doing here is you're paying off or giving a favor or showing your loyalty to a group of people in the United States. What is the actual strategy here? What is the plan? How does this get us to peace?
GPS is really saying here. I think what you're doing here is you're paying off or giving a favor or, showing your loyalty to a group of people in the U.S. He's accusing Trump of paying off Jewish donors, supporters, and what have you. Reed gets it all wrong. This is classic to me. What is the actual strategy? What is the plan? How does this get us to peace? Fareed, nothing in the last 50 years has gotten us any closer to peace. Biggest wastes of time there's ever been in terms of actually achieving a stated objective. All this has done is provide careers for a bunch of diplomats who are incapable of getting anything done. People at the State Department are no different than Yasser Arafat, the PLO. A solution is the last thing you want. If you solve it, you don't need diplomats anymore. If you solve it, you don't need precious negotiations anymore. If you solve it, you don't need strategies anymore. They don't anymore want to solve this than Arafat wants to solve it. And I really mean this, particularly speaking about diplomats on our side. They exist to prolong instances. They exist to prolong circumstances. Diplomacy by design is trying to say what you mean without saying it and making sure nobody knows what you mean at the same time. It's like telling somebody they have an open mind instead of telling them they have holes in their head. But the last thing a diplomat wants to do is actually solve that. A president would like to be able to have said so because, man, history books, legacy, Nobel Peace Prize, all of that. But the diplomats on the ground, this is another scam, this whole Middle East peace process. And just looking at it common sense, I've often wondered, why do they lie to us about this? Or are they not? And do they really think this is possible? Because there isn't a single instance in the world where hostilities like this have been solved with words. With doctors, with nurses, with clean water, with health care, with environmental responsibility. Sorry, it's never happened. They're not determined by who has the best diplomats. They're determined by who has the best army and who's best able to kill people and break things. And that's how hostilities are solved. Dictate the articles of surrender and shove them in the face of the losers and say, sign this. I mean, Germany's got quasi-military, but Japan does not. Well, maybe there have been changes recently. They have National Guard type thing. I don't know, but those were the terms of surrender back in the 1940s, and they lasted. If MacArthur on the deck of the battleship Missouri meeting with the Japanese Emperor says, we want you to basically disband your military forever. That's not the way the world works. But why they think it's going to work here is beyond me. Specialize in the Middle East peace process. You know how we know this? Because every time a gun is fired, every time there's an explosion in Israel, these guys all pop up on TV as expert analysts, scholars, to tell us what it all means. But they never have any answers, and they never have any solutions. All they have is warnings for America. Weinstein was not known until the New York Times published sleeping in the Lincoln bedroom after paying for it with massive donations. And he and Bill would still be running around. Harvey Weinstein, there would not have been a story. There would have been no need. The Democrats and the media would have been deliriously happy. We would not have had a single one of these sexual harassment stories break as evidence of how important the Trump victory was. As it is, the calculation was made that if they dropped it because they knew that their number one anchor on the Today Show was doing the same kind of stuff, and they had to cover that everything like a cocktail shaker. And these people, we would not have a revived economy. We would not have any of the changes we've had on the border. None of the things that people are optimistic about. The economy, the job market, the overall economic none of the confidence, none of this would be happening right now. Mood I would be in. I'd probably be asking myself, what's the point of showing up here every day? You're talking about this, the sexual harassment, yeah. No, well, I'm not trying to denigrate Trump, and I think this is big. Trump was Person of the Year last year. It's not like he's being slighted, wasn't he? Okay, fine. So, arguably, worldwide, Trump has made the biggest. If Trump is the reason this happened, in fact. Trump being elected is why all these dominoes are falling. I'm not denying that. But normally, a Time magazine Person of the Year selection is an abject joke. Like the climate, or like the computer, or like something. This is not insignificant. That's all I'm saying. I think this is a big deal. That all of this behavior been going on in the workplace, and not the least because of who it is. Folks, it's the phonies among us. The people have been preaching to us about being phony prudes and don't sit in judgment of other people, making fun of people who try to live a decent life. The people making these filth movies and trying to foster them on everybody. Look who's gotten caught up in this. You can't turn harassment into a partisan. I didn't. It is what it is. I mean, it's undeniable. I'm not suggesting that Trump would not have been a valid choice. I'm just saying this one, I do think, was earth-shattering. Can you, Democrat resignations, look at I think it's going to be a blowback, too. I think the pendulum is going to go too far. Take another time out. There's some other things I want to get to here. I didn't intend to spend this much time on it, but the Program Observer asked me a waste of time question. I had to answer it. So we'll come back after taking a little obscene profit break. Behind the female senatorial lead. Here is Ricardo in McAllen, Texas. Hillsdale College campaigning for Hillary as hard as she could. She skipped the Golden Globes to campaign for Hillary Clinton, January 10, 2016. Dunham says the Clinton staffer appeared to be shocked when told of Weinstein's proclivities, said she would immediately report it to the Clinton campaign manager, Robbie Mook. So he's throwing one of his own employees under the bus. So you got a couple liars here, you don't know who to believe. Dunham also answered her warnings, and Weinstein helped organize star-studded fundraisers for Hillary weeks after she warned the campaign about